guys. I'm going to try not to talk super loud because somehow, magically, both of my boys are asleep, so it's pretty exciting. So I decided to do a second live because somehow I'm allowed to talk today. So that's super exciting. So I am just going to chat because people are able to get on to my live and chat with me. So let me see, I'm going to try to, hello everybody. I'm going to try to just add whatever I can here. I had one more group I needed to add there, but I didn't do it. So my name is Darby. A lot of my friends are new and I'm just getting to know you, so I just wanted to say hey. And today we're going to talk about something that has become really dear to me, and it's called Fulvic and humic acid, and there's tons of brands, and you can research whatever you want and all the different brands on all those, and I'm going to tell you why it's my biggest passion right now and why I'm totally in love with it. There's been like questions about different different usages and how much to use and what to use it for. So I'm going to kind of go over what I learned, what I've used it for, and all that fun stuff. And you can make a comment about what you're using it for, or any questions you have. So first I want to talk about fulvic and humic acid isn't always something that people have been able to use. It wasn't bioavailable because it is from decaying matter. So it's basically soil. I mean, all dirt is from decaying matter, whether it's food or all the things it could be from, that is decaying matter. So they had to find a way to clean it so it could be actually used by people. So I've been reading PubMed study after PubMed study about fulvic acid now for months, and I found some really interesting stuff, and I totally invite you to check it out too. It's really interesting, but they've been doing all of these really cool studies on animals in the wild that live around areas where fulvic and humic acid is very rich, and how they're living and like how their bodies are doing and all this really amazing stuff. So what is really interesting is the fish. So I kind of stopped eating anything from the ocean a little while ago because I found out about all the microplastics and all of the heavy metals. Whenever you're pregnant, which for me has been 3 times now, you can't eat big fish because they accumulate so many metals from being swimming in the ocean, which is gross. I mean, our poor ocean is so contaminated, and I have a hard time eating seafood because of that. So a study that I found really interesting from 2012, it was an Australian study. They found that fish that were swimming in waters in the areas that fulvic acid was really rich, that they were 6 times less toxic with aluminum, which is something that they are linking to Alzheimer's now, right? In Alzheimer's patients. So 6 times less aluminum in those fish. So that's really, really interesting. So if we go right over to some of the benefits of fulvic acid, one of my favorite is your cognitive health. And the reason is because it helps remove aluminum. And Alzheimer's patients are some of the people that are seeing a huge change when they use fulvic acid. So my grandfather actually had the beginning of what that was, and I could see how it gets bad rapidly. And I've had some friends and their parents have had Alzheimer's, and it's awful. So if you can keep yourself from being in a position where you're going to have Alzheimer's, this is a win. Some of my other favorites are better absorption. So when you're taking fulvic acid, it actually helps your body absorb what you're eating better. And that is one of the biggest problems we're having right now, because all of these people that are dealing with leaky gut issues, I would say some of the biggest symptoms I see on a regular basis now is thinning hair, digestive issues, lots of food allergies, skin problems, eczema, weird rashes people can't figure out. Your skin is your second liver. So if your liver is completely, over amplified with all of these toxins, and that doesn't include if you like to drink coffee, if you like to drink beer, if you like to drink alcohol, these things are already weighing on your liver. Some people think, oh, well, your liver is only taxed if you're drinking too much. That is not true. Environmental toxins are really, really awful. They're like death by 1,000 paper cuts, as my husband would say. So another one that I absolutely love is immune health. It boosts your immunity and your immune system, and also your intestinal health. Um, Great for energy. That was the first thing I noticed. Skin, we just talked about that. And pain, actually, relief is a really big one. And I wonder, I think it's because of the inflammation. It actually helps remove inflammation. So that to me makes perfect sense. Most of the time when we're inflamed, that's when we end up, in more pain, and it removes metals. So metals are also an inflammatory, and they're a neurotoxin. I might be starting to get censored with some of the words I'm using, so we'll find out. Fulvic acid also has 60 natural minerals and trace minerals. So that is something that I think I've talked to a lot of holistic doctors, and they all say the same thing. I am yet to find someone who is not mineral deficient. And, our soil used to be a lot richer. They used to take time off and, kind of pepper the soil, change where they would be 1 year on, 1 year off, so that the soil could replenish, and that's not something that we're doing anymore. There's just so much in the soil now that is more toxic than good. So finding, eating your organic fruits and vegetables, and making sure that if you're not eating all organic, that you're focusing on your dirty dozen. So anything with thin skins, things like peaches and apples and grapes, cucumbers, these type of things, make sure that you are eating those organic. So I wanted to talk to you too a little bit about some of the parasites. So this is I don't know why I think this is such a fun topic, and some people just think it's absolutely awful. But so I'll tell you a story really quick. When I was 17, I worked at a spa, and of course, like, all the beautiful women are always talking about all the grossest stuff. But so there was this beautiful girl at the front desk, and she was like, I think she was 16, and she was telling me how her parents owned a parasite killing business. Like, they made the herbs for parasites. And of course I wanted to know all the details of, like, every gross thing they had ever seen, because I'm a weirdo like that. And so she was telling me all these crazy stories, and it got me so intrigued. So I started learning about the different herbs that you would use to kill parasites. And it was amazing. I mean, I started doing parasite cleanses when I was young because I was totally intrigued, and I thought it was absolutely awful and disgusting. And of course I wanted to know everything about it. So I'm also like a weirdo. Like, I watch, those pimple popping things. I'm like totally, I'm not for everybody. So, so what I found is that everybody has parasites, especially those that have pets, especially people who work in the farming industry, and parasites are it's just everybody has parasites. But what's really interesting is, there's a couple groups. I have a detox Fulvic group that is just starting going, and I'm part of some other groups with different detoxes, different parasite cleanses, all kinds of things, because I love to know about parasite cleansing. And when I removed my implants that I had, I found that through my own research and my own life, I found that most women that are dealing with breast implant illness have severe inflammation, and because of that, their immune system is down really low, so their body can't naturally get rid of parasites like it might. So they've got higher metal toxicity, they have higher chemical toxicity, their liver is already completely taxed, and their body's inflamed, and most of the time they have parasites that have been there for a really long time. And if you're eating sushi, you're probably dealing with parasites. If you haven't washed your fruits and vegetables, you're probably dealing with parasites. So that brings me to the next conversation. So in some of these groups, they're putting up all of these pictures of these crazy parasites. I mean, some of them are really like things that nightmares are made of. And of course, I want to see all of it. So, and I'm not the only one, because there's like 60,000 people in this group. So the one thing though is there's something called a ropeworm. Okay, and it looks like a big, long, kind of like if you were to take a silk scarf and dip it in black, and then just like kind of like tar, that's what it looks like. So that is called a ropeworm. So for some reason, scientifically speaking, it has not been confirmed as a parasite. I don't know why. I don't know why it hasn't been, but it's like a blobby strand. Okay, there's two things that can be. It can be a ropeworm, or because of what Fulvic does, it actually, so just to back up a little bit, your intestines have plaque in them. I'm sure you've heard of that, okay? So as the years go on, you get thicker plaque. Like, think of it like like pizza dough sitting in the cracks of your intestines, and your intestines are so long, right? They're not like 2 feet long, they're extremely long. So what happens is they're all bundled up in your belly, and so you can get mucousy plaque that sticks in there. And let's say you're highly allergic to gluten, and let's say you've got an old pizza sticking in there. Okay, so then someday you could feel awful and some days you feel good. It just depends on how your digestion is and how your body's moving things out. And that is why Fulvic is making such a huge difference as well, is because it's actually removing the intestinal plaque. So what's happening is all this, it's called a mucoid plaque. It's called mucoid plaque. Very, very lovely name. And what it does is it actually, it's a mixture of fecal matter, toxins, like a mucousy substance, and it's also there because your lymph gets stuck. So if you want to make yourself super healthy in life, make sure your lymph is always moving. Okay, and that's for everybody. But so back to this mucoid plaque. What happens is when it comes out, it literally looks like the lining of an intestine. So it could either be a ropeworm or it could be a mucoid plaque. But the Fulvic actually knocks it loose, and it cleans out all of that. And you know, I don't remember the exact statistic, but men are so much higher on that list of getting colon cancer because of the fact that their digestion is smaller. Have you ever seen those old men that have those really hard bellies that look really painful? I can almost guarantee you that those mucoid plaque intestines are just tarred up, and they just need some good old Fulvic. So I have a couple notes because I always get off on my tangents. But so if you want to detox properly, you really need to find. You need to keep your lymph going. A couple great ways to do that: jump on the trampoline. Do the dry brushing. You can do manipulation. The Beamer is the number one. It gets 30% of gets your circulation 30% higher. That's the highest for anything. So medication I think was 12%, exercise of 15%. This was 30%. But you can jump on down in your living room, do jumping jacks, do jump rope, whatever it is you need to get your lymph moving daily. So make sure, that's why exercise is so important for people too. So get yourself a carbon-based binder. That's why they work really well. And you want to make sure the pathogens are moving out of your body, and you want to be using anti-parasitic herbs. So you can use Fulvic, and you can also add other anti-parasitic herbs. What are some of my very favorite? There's one called Mimosa pudica, and it's a seed. There's also black walnut tincture with green hull. It tastes awful. You can get it in a pill form. You can get wormwood, papaya seed or papaya seed extract. Garlic, raw garlic helps. And there's a couple other clove, but a lot of these things work really well together. And then Fulvic, of course, helps move it out. And then, there's going to be a bunch of debris of dead parasitic bodies, and eating a high fiber diet helps move it out also. Oh, and also pumpkin seeds. They actually paralyze the parasite so that their jaw releases and they can move out of the body. All gross stuff, I know, but it's so fascinating, isn't it? I think it's so fascinating. Okay, so I was going to tell you one more thing. Okay, yeah, so one of my other things is it does help you absorb, but it's not just helping you absorb vitamins, it's also fatty acids and antioxidants. Well, what does that do for an inflamed body? Antioxidants help with free radicals, which is what all of that inflammation is. So it helps just take down the body and calm the body down, which is really, really just what everybody in the world needs right now. I mean, I was just talking to a girlfriend who couldn't lose any weight after she had a baby, and I said, well, right now is a really, really toxic and really stressful time. And what does that do? That brings up your cortisol levels, and that messes with your hormones. And that's another thing that Fulvic does. It helps balance out the hormones. So this is one of my very favorites, especially, I work with breast implant illness ladies, and I have to say, if I was to pick one product, if people were saying to me, what is one thing that you can't live without? In the past, I had a whole blog, and I've tried a lot of things, and there were so many things that I love and I would highly recommend, but if I had to pick one, I would definitely say this so far, and I'm about 4 months in, has been my favorite detox. It's the least amount of symptomatic detox, and I'm feeling the best. My hair is growing, my nails are growing, my skin looks better. I'm losing weight. That's a huge one. I had a lady who I was chatting with. I hope she doesn't mind. I'm not going to say her name. But she messaged me, and I think she's been on it for 4 weeks now, and she's lost, I think she said 17 pounds. It was 13 or 17. Either way, it's amazing. And she said her inflammation is going down. I mean, it's just amazing. So make sure your lymph is always moving, no matter what detox you're doing. That is highly, highly important. And you know, if you're feeling really awful on a detox, you need to up your water, slow down on the detox, get more sleep, and make sure your lymphatic is moving. Anyway, I had a lot of fun chatting about gross parasites, and I hope you had fun listening. If you have anything to add, please do. I always love learning more stuff. Send me links, whatever. And my cell phone can no longer upload Facebook or Messenger, so if you're one of my sweet friends that have been trying to get a hold of me, no, I can only chat with you now on an iPad. I don't know what happened. Anyway, thanks guys.